Oh, sorry, you guys. What's going on? Good evening. Hey, it's a fabulous Friday. Oh my gosh. Can you believe it's Friday already? It's Friday. It's Friday evening. I don't know. It's Friday night. Just got paid. Did I get paid? Every day. Every day we get paid because we wake up every day. How about that? So listen, listen. I am coming to you this Friday night, and this is we're gonna get this thing started. I'm so excited to be bringing somebody that I'm going to be doing an amazing workshop with. But in the meantime, I want you to meet her. And I figured this would be a great way to introduce you guys to who she is. It's somebody that I met not that long ago. And I'm just uberly excited for you guys to meet her. And on top of that, this is just a conversation with Carolyn. Like, we're just having a conversation, candid conversation with. Matter of fact, maybe that's what I'll recall this, because I want you guys to, because I'm going to start doing like I did the 25 days of her, right? So I'm about to embark in doing a couple different types of podcast type of things, and so want to know, tell me what names you kind of like. I kind of like conversations with Carolyn. Candid conversations with Carolyn. How about that one? I think I like that one. How about that? I want you guys to vote for me and just tell me kind of what you think. Whether you're watching this now or on the replay, just let me know. Let us know. But in the meantime, I have her book right here. This book right here. I'm gonna tell you. It's called Mastering Communication in Your Relationships and Marriage. But it's the relationship piece, right? It's a Friday night. And if you're like me, you're sitting here live on a Friday night. So I thought this was very interesting for us to have this candid conversation. And it's really, and I thought this would really be great for her too, because she's a relationship, and watch this, y'all, intimacy coach. And I can't wait for her to come and talk to us a little bit about her, this book, this whole, so we can just have this conversation, and then how it all boils down to, and that's all about self-love. So I don't know if you guys are ready. I'm looking at you, beautiful. Are you ready backstage? I see you backstage. You ready? She's smiling. She's like, yes, come on. Welcome to I think it's gonna be Candid Conversations with Carolyn. How about that? I'm gonna bring in Debra. Come on, Debra. Come on in.
Hey.
Hey, what's going on? How do you like that name? How do you like that name? Candid Conversations with Carolyn. Do you like
I
that one?
love it. I love it. I think that should be the name. That should be
That
the
should be
name.
the name. Okay, you guys, if you guys like that, I want you to put it in the chat. We like that. Like, let me know if you like that, for this to be a whole new Candid Conversations with Carolyn. And then we're going to figure out when we're going to do it. And it's going to be done. And I like it. Yeah, that's what's going to be. Candid Conversations with Carolyn. So I can change the title. But listen. Tell everybody, like, I have your amazing book right here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mastering communication. That's so important. Why is mastering communication so important? Like, first and foremost, what made you write this book? This amazing book, Mastering Communication in Your Relationships and Marriage.
I wrote the book because I have a married women's forum, and also, dealing with clients, you find that they're not really communicating. They're talking to each other, but they're not really communicating with each other. And communication entails so many different things that people aren't even aware of. And that's what made me write it, because, and then I wrote it the way I wanted to write it. I didn't go about how everybody else writes a book, right? I wrote it the way I wanted it. I wanted it to be for me, personal, how I wanted to write it. So I wrote it based on my life, because I've struggled in my relationship with communication for years before I got it right. And I wanted to be able to share this knowledge with other people so that they wouldn't have to struggle the way I struggled in my marriage. So that's why I wrote it. And because of the Married Women's Forum that I have on Thursdays at 7 p.m., I talking to the women in the group and listening to the issues that they were having in their marriage. It just really came to fruition with me saying, I need to write this book, right? Between me, struggling with communication for years in my marriage, and having, other people talk to me about their communication issues. And let me just say this: communication is the key to resolving just about everything in a relationship. If you got your communication on point, then everything else can flow the way you need it to. So yes, that's why I wrote the book.
Okay. Listen, I know because I met you at Levon. Shout out to Levon Howard. Yeah. So his Authors
Yes,
Cafe.
amazing.
Amazing,
Yes,
amazing with all the authors that were there. And this was his 33rd one, I believe. And
yes.
I was part of it earlier on when he first started doing this. So shout out to Levon.
Hmm.
Um, Matter of fact, I think he still uses one of the clips when his presentation from when I did it. And it was so funny because this all goes to, persistence and just doing it anyway. Even listen, here's the thing: do it when no one shows up.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I don't know who's watching this right now, but we showing up
Right,
because guess what? You
exactly.
want to watch this at some time and point, right? You have to
Right.
just show up.
That's
So
right.
I remember being at that event and nobody was there.
Mm.
But me and the other author. Matter of fact, it was supposed to have been, I think, four authors, and only two of us stayed. The other two left. They came in and saw there was nobody in the room and they left.
Wow.
So me and the other author, we looked at each other. We said, "All right, well, I'm gonna get up and talk to you." And she was like, "Okay." And then she turned around and then she got up and talked to me. Listen, you got to still treat this thing like there's a million people watching. You
That's
have
right.
to. It's not always about the numbers. It's not always about who's seeing you. It's about what you're doing to allow yourself to be put in that position because everything is a training ground, right? You only get
Exactly.
better when you do things like it's repetition, like
Hmm.
a track athlete. You
Hmm.
don't get better in track unless you continues to practice. You have to practice. You
Exactly.
have to run. You go further. You go faster because you're just at it. Not as soon as you step on a track. Okay, boom. You must, every now and then that might happen, but that's not going to last. It's not going to last. Not going to last. But yeah. So back shout out to Levon once again. You were there with a whole bunch of other amazing authors. Some of them I knew, a lot of them I didn't. But it was just something I just came over to you, got drawn to
Yeah.
you. What you
Yeah.
said was so profound, right? And it was
Yes.
so and and I guess everybody meets people at the right time and the right moments for what they need and when they need.
Hmm.
And I can't remember exactly what it was you said, but you said it struck a chord, right? And it made an impact that when I was over in your area, I said, oh yeah, I remember she said something. So then I went and talked to you. And then
Hmm.
just been kind of like this ever since. So yeah, that's what's
Yes. Yes.
so I mean, to the point of this relationships, when you talk about being a relationship coach, now you're referring to relationships and far like because your book is with marriage, so it's intimate relationships, I'm presuming, correct?
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
you're a relationship and intimacy coach.
Right.
Break
Right.
that down for us. Like really break that down, especially the word intimacy, because I don't think people really get it. My males and my females, like let them know about this whole thing about let's unpack intimacy. How about that?
Yeah. Let's do that. But most of the time when people talk about intimacy, they immediately go to sex, right? Well, what are
That's
you doing before you get to the sex act,
exactly. That's what.
right?
Thank you. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Tell
it's
it.
all
Tell
those
it.
things before you even get there. Like people talk about foreplay, right? Well, there's a lot of foreplay before you even get to the sex part. So I want people to think about the little things that they do in their relationship that actually brings them to the point where they're close to their spouse or they're close to their partner, right? All these little things that I talk about um, showing up. And when was the last time you actually kissed your partner? When was the last time you hugged your partner? When was the last time that you said, I love you? We walk around day in and day out, and especially when we get comfortable and we get used to each other, those things just go by the wayside. And then you wind up feeling like roommates instead of a couple. So
Mm. Oh,
think
oh,
that.
oh, oh. Wait a minute. A roommate instead of a couple. That's like this is one of the things I used to always say because I'm guilty of this. This was me and my kids' fathers at one time, and I was like, we just together apart. We ain't together.
Right. You just
we just
existing,
we
right?
just roommates at this point.
You just existing
Just
in a
existed.
relationship, and you think about the children comes before your relationship, family comes before your relationship, the job can come before your relationship, right?
Right.
So it's all these little things that I try to express when I'm talking about intimacy, because intimacy also goes into what have you done for your spouse lately? What have you done? What have you said to them to make them feel appreciated and wanted? All these little things is intimacy. And you
Mm.
want to feel good by the time you get to where you want to go,
Where you
right?
go. But
But
let's break that down even further for our people that's watching, and like I said, they're going to watch when they're going to watch.
mhm,
In addition to those steps that you just said for the intimacy and all those things you need to do for your spouse, I believe that you have to act that way or be that way before they even become your spouse.
yeah, it's your personality, right? It's your personality. It's what you have prepared yourself for. And I
Mm-hmm.
am a strong opponent of making sure that you're whole so that you can show up in a relationship. But you got to be whole first, right? You got to take care of yourself first. You got to know exactly what you want first. And that's in my book. I talk about creating boundaries. What are your
Mm-hmm.
expectations? You need to know what your expectations are before you even show up in a relationship. Who are you? Who do you want to be? Who do you want to be in this relationship? Who do
Mm-hmm.
you want your partner to be in this relationship?
Relationship. That's right. That's right. Now you have man. So some of you guys are going to get some nuggets tonight. I'm just trying to tell you. But I want you to address these two things in your book that I was like,
Okay.
oh, you got to give us the tea on this. I have the book, but I want everybody to know you got it's right from the get go. Like she went in y'all from the beginning of the book, not like sugar coated later. She talked about your three ego states.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
Yes.
three ego states, and
Yes.
then your drama triangle.
That's right.
Come on now,
That's
Deborah.
right.
What once listen, I gotta take me a sip of my Deer Park water that I put some juice. I put something in it. So go ahead. Go ahead.
Ooh.
I'm gonna give you. Listen, you got forefront. Go for it. Break this down for us.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, when we talk about the three ego states, which I talk about this all the time, and it's all a part of communicating and making sure that we are communicating appropriately, right? So the three ego states is the child state, and the child state is how you were raised. Were you this child that pouted or complained or whined, and then you become this adult? Are you still acting like the child? So that's the child state. How were you as a child? Or were you one of those children like I was? Because I was one of those perfect children. No, I wasn't. But anyway, I went along with the rules. I did what my parents wanted me to do for the most part. And so I didn't rebel or anything like that. So I grew up responsible. So as a in the child stage, we can go either way, right? And then the parent stage is how are we talking to our partners? Are we showing up as our parent? Some parents were good parents and some parents were not so good, right? So how are we showing up are we showing up as that parent? And ladies, let me just say this. When we have children and we are in that mother mode, we could take that parent role into our relationship. We could treat our spouse or our partner like they're our children. And I say this all the time. There are two adults in the room, so both adults should be treated accordingly, right? So if you had a parent that judged you all the time, that put you down, that did not encourage you, are you doing the same thing with your children or with your spouse or your partner? Are you being negative? Are you putting them down? Are you taking away? Okay, this is women in the room. Are you taking away their manhood? Let's
Mm.
get real. Are you taking away their manhood as that parent, telling them what they should do, when they should do it, and how they should do it? And that's the
Ooh,
parent state. We
wait.
need to be real on that one, okay?
I gotta come in on that one. I'm like, whoa, 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 wait. Cause you hear, so you hear a lot, right? You know, don't tell me what to do.
Right,
You're not my mother. You're
right,
not my father, right?
right,
Don't tell me what to do. And so
right.
that's where that comes from, right? Because
That's
now you're repelling birds because you're coming to them or they're receiving you in this parent state. You're showing up in
right,
that parent state.
right.
Wow.
Yep. And to be honest, that was me. That was me because
Mm,
I grew up raising my siblings because my mother worked second shift, so I had to come home from school, had to take care of the kids, and I had to be responsible. So when I got married, I took that same way of being into my marriage.
mm,
And I was his parent. He didn't need a parent. He was grown, right? But because I lived in that role for so long, I act treated him like he was my child sometimes. I'm being honest. That's why I wrote the book because, of the issues that I did. And I tell people all the time, I wrote this because I had to change me. I had to change me and I took myself through all these processes to change me to help you. And that was
mm.
the goal, right? To
Wow.
help you. So I also realized that I was a child of childhood trauma. So I didn't have any control as a child. So I brought control into my relationship. So that's the other piece to it.
Listen, like ding, 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 ding,
Yeah,
ding.
yeah.
Girl,
So
you
that,
are
go ahead, go ahead.
no go for it because that goes back to the state how the see now here's the thing. So if you're showing up, if one person is showing up or yourself is showing up in that parent state, right? Then how is your partner showing up? Because they don't want to be controlled, right?
No,
They
no.
don't want you to tell them what to do because then that's like you're controlling me. No, no, no. So now that's a rebel. So now they're showing up in a technically they're showing up in a child state.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Because and when you really think about relationships, that's the dynamic. And I didn't talk about the adult state, but if you're in the adult state, it's both people showing up centered and ready to have a conversation.
Yes.
Okay, that's the adult state.
Yeah.
But if you're not showing up as an adult, you revert to either the child or the parent. It's
Now
that
you
simple.
guys are you catching what she's saying? Now if you start thinking about how there's these mixed matching conversations
Yes,
or you can't even call them conversations at that point, interactions, right?
that's what they are. They're
They're
interactions. Yeah.
interactions that when there's conflict of some sort, then someone is showing up in one state of mind and the other one is receiving it and showing up in the other state of mind. And
Right.
that's how you're interacting with each other, but yet at the same time repelling at the same time.
Yes. Yeah. So that's why I said, that's why I was saying that I struggle with communication. I struggle. And I tell anyone, I can't teach you if I don't know what I'm doing, right? If I
Right,
have not
right.
experienced a lot of things that I have a total of 39 years of marriage. Okay. So I have been through so many different things being married, being in a relationship. Because some people just say
I have
marriage,
39
but
years of singleness. I'm just saying.
I love it. I love it. So, but think about it. But this is really crucial though, Carolyn,
Yes.
because this whole time that you're single, however long it's been, what are you doing to build yourself up, to make yourself whole, so that when you do get into a relationship, that you're ready for that relationship?
Right. Oh, I work on me every day. I work on
Exactly.
me. I work on me. But here's the thing, and this is what people don't get. You work on you independently, right?
Yes.
But
Yes.
then, but at the same token, but you have that's your foundation. But in order for you to really know and really truly learn, you have to get into connection, right?
Yes, you do.
Relationship, not a relationship. So
Right.
you got to figure out the right word because some people can get a little, you said the
Yeah.
R word.
We
No,
were
but you
out.
have to be in communication. You have to be in existence
Yeah.
with someone or someone's, right? In
Yes.
order to, while you're working on yourself. So everyone, yes, you have to be whole, because you have to be whole to the point that you have already addressed your issues. That's how you're
Exactly.
whole. But you have to understand that when you get into connection, and I'm going to say the word connection, you get into connection, relationship, you get in with partnership with a person, right?
Yeah. Right.
Whatever, whether it's platonic, friendship, romance, it
Right.
doesn't matter,
Whatever.
right?
It doesn't
It
matter.
doesn't
A
matter.
relationship is a
A
relationship.
relationship is a relationship,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then that's when you really truly get to learn about yourself. It's not about the other person. The other person did this to me. No, 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 no. It's the other person that's showing something to you that's triggering you
Yes.
for you
Oh
to
my
work
gosh.
on you,
Yes.
not for
Yes.
you to point the finger at the other person and say, see, I knew this is why everyone does do this, and
Right.
everyone. Whoa, okay. So if you keep running into that,
Yeah.
then there's a pattern. And the
Right.
common denominator is you.
Exactly. Exactly. And in my book, I talk about that because we are always looking at someone else and not looking at ourselves. And that's the huge piece there. It's like, what are you doing? Right? It's like, what are you doing? And I'm gonna blast my son out here, right? He always complains about the fact that these women this way, these women that, and I said to him, but
These
you're the
women,
common denominator. Yes. But I
these
said, but you're
men,
the common
these women.
denominator. What are you doing that's, as you say, drawing these women to you? Why are you accepting these women? Right? But it's all him and he doesn't want to see it.
But
And
you know
that's
what?
with
But there's so many
everyone.
hymns. There's so many hymns out there. There's so
Yeah.
many hers out there, right?
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
what you, when you start to recognize yourself in the part that you play in everything, that's how
Mhm.
you can, like you said, you show up. That's how
Yeah.
you can show up whole. But
That's
just
how you show
even, but
up.
even when you show up whole, just watch this. You're repairing some things that were broken. So that
Yeah.
means there are still some weak points,
Yes.
because something that's broken is not whole any longer.
You're right.
It could be put back together, but there are some weak spots to it that won't be as strong as it was.
You're right.
So it has a
Right.
tendency to potentially get triggered, right? And it
Yes.
could break
Yes.
again. Or it
Yes.
could be, or it could break in another spot. You ever
Yes.
had that happen? It could break
Yes.
in another spot. And so that's when you work on yourself, right? And this is going to tie into what we're going to talk about later with this self-love,
Mhm.
because you love yourself, you learn to love
Yes.
yourself,
Yes.
right?
That's the key.
Then
That's the
you
key.
can then start to say, oh, it's not about somebody checking you, or I had to put them in place, I had to check them. No, 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 no. It's about self-checking. It's about checking yourself, because you realize, like, dang, because I know I've been in situations where I was like, "Ooh, wait a minute," and then I had to sit back and like, "Dag, I thought I worked on that. Dag, nagging, now I got this situation just triggered the mess out of me. I thought I dealt with that.
Yeah. We all
Okay,
have
so
triggers.
now I have to pause, and I gotta sit back, and I gotta sit with it. It's
Yep.
not the other person. The other person just helped reveal something for me.
Right. Exactly.
Instead of me
Exactly.
taking it out on the other person, I'm like, get on my nerves. And that
Yeah.
sometimes could be true. But
Yeah.
but they get on your nerves because it's something that you're supposed to learn. It's something that
Yes.
you get it, that trigger. It's remind you of something, either remind you of something or it exposes something. And it's like, oh, that's a weak point. Okay, I need to go get some more putty and fix that part.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
the thing, I'm getting holes again. I need to, I'm getting holes in my whole self.
That's true. That's true. You know, what I do is when I am feeling uncomfortable in a situation, you know, like having a conversation, especially with my husband, and I feel a nerve, right? I stop and I take evaluation of myself, not what he said that caused that trigger, but why. And I say this to myself all the time. Why did that bother me? What
Yeah,
was it that he said that bothered me?
yeah.
Because it goes right back to yourself,
It
right?
goes right
And
back
that's
to
that's how
yourself.
you're building that wholeness. But we're all imperfect people. We all struggle, and we all do the best we can at times.
Well,
But when
it's
you're
easier to
focusing,
blame. It's easier to put the blame on someone else. That means you
yes,
don't have to work. See, and it's easier to put the blame on someone else. And I believe too that
Always.
that's why in this whole situation we had over the past 2 years, with a lot of people just kind of like going separate ways, is because now they had to deal with themselves. They
Yes.
had to now deal with other people in a more intimate way,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Right? That with the
Yes.
intimacy is just being connected, being
Being connected in
connected.
so
That's
many
it.
little ways.
Where it
And
was like,
that's the key. Little ways. And a lot of people think it's something big, but it's all the little things that we want from our partners, all those little things that make us feel good, like my
like list some of the things. Like, what are some of the things for someone out there that's watching? If you got a question for Debra, please put it in the comments. Like, let her know. Like, if she's dropping some nuggets tonight, we having a good conversation.
yes, we are. Well, perfect example was I was talking to my husband and we were just talking. This is the one thing that we do all the time. We always check in and we always make sure we're good, right? So no matter what's going on in our day, we're always reconnecting. When we have breaks, we'll go say, "Hey, babe, how you doing?" or whatever. And we were just having this conversation, and we always talk about what is working in our relationship. And he was so sweet when he said, he said, "You make me want to be close to you." That's intimacy, you guys. That's intimacy.
I felt that. It
Yes.
felt
Oh, oh
good.
my goodness.
I felt
Because
that. Did
I
you guys
know.
feel that?
That's what I'm
That felt
saying.
great. Like, I thought he was saying it to me. Like, oh,
Hello. But he said it to me,
oh,
right?
that's beautiful, right?
But that's what you do when you're allowing yourself to show someone else love and appreciation. And we complain so much about not receiving it, but are we giving it? Are we giving that love and appreciation? And let me tell y'all a secret, ladies. Men love to be appreciated. They respect is number one. They want to be respected. That's number one always. But number two is appreciation. When you tell your man that you appreciate something that they did, even if they took out the garbage and it's raining, right? Babe, I really appreciate you because it's raining out there and you still took the garbage out. Something small and simple, but they appreciate it. And it's just a rule of mine. It's a rule of mine to tell my spouse how much I appreciate him. And it's the little things like I was a part of a women's summit last week and 2 weeks ago. And he was just so wonderful because I was preparing my talk and he knew I was nervous the day that I had to give it. He fixed me breakfast and he brought the food to me. I was on my computer, I was going over my talk and everything. He brought the food to me while I'm going over my talk. I said, "Thank you, babe. I so appreciate you." He didn't have to do it. But it's
No,
the fact that we appreciate each other and he knows that I appreciate him. He knows that I tell him how much I appreciate him. That he was willing to do that for me. Ladies, that's intimacy. That's
there you go.
intimacy.
The
That
little
is,
things, little
it's
things,
the little things
the
that
little
are
things.
intimate pieces to our relationships that build on our relationship.
I love it. I love it.
And
I love
it's a
it.
simple thing. But we have to, our men are out there in the world day in and day out, and they are stressed just like we are.
Even more so because I did a candid conversation right on my conference, and it was, why men don't talk.
Okay. Love it.
And because we assume that they don't talk.
Right.
Lord
But they
knows
do.
they do. Oh boy, do they ever? Do they ever? And what you said was that reminded me, and it's basically, they appreciation, right? Um, what you said, wait a minute, that was the second. What's the
Respect.
first? Respect.
Respect
Oh
is
yeah,
number
respect.
one.
Respect was number one. Respect was number one. Appreciation. They want to feel appreciated, and they want to be heard.
Yes. Yes.
They want to be heard.
They want to be heard.
They
Yes.
want to be heard. Period. Point blank. And those three things, I'm like, yeah, and it was across the board. Across the
Yeah.
board, those three things, like respect was one, like you said, appreciation, and they just want to be heard, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, but in order to do that, we have to take a
Listen.
seat back and listen, right? And like you said,
Yes.
we have to take a seat back and just
Yes.
listen. And then
Yes.
when you listen, you can hear everything that they're saying, right?
Yes.
You can really hear it, and not hear it to not hear it and listen to just to be able to respond, but listen to understand.
Girl, you took my line. You took my line because you know that's what I said at the book signing. That's exactly what I
Really,
said at
yeah,
the
you
book
got to
signing.
listen to understand.
That's right.
And when you're able to do that, then
Active
you
listening.
it's active listening, right?
It's in my
Exactly. I mean,
book.
that's one of the things, like I'm a resiliency coach. Certified in so many different things, like Stephen Covey, and I'm a life coach, and that is one of the things is active listening, right? You have to
Yes.
listen, and see
Yes.
when you're able to do that, not only are you able to hear them and understand them at a deeper level, right?
Exactly.
Then you get to understand yourself too,
Yes.
because there's things that they will say that like you said, you'll be like, whoa, I didn't like the way that said. So instead of you just coming right at them, you got to put like, whoa, what was that about? Why did that bother me?
Yes.
It could have been something totally unrelated to them, but
Right.
it was something that was subconsciously, or something that's in you, that
Mm-hmm.
whatever they said, you didn't. It's like, there's a
Right.
time to, just like in Ecclesiastes, there's a
Yep.
time for everything. There's a
Yep.
time to speak.
Yes. I'm gonna be
And there's
quiet.
a time not to. And
Mm-hmm.
everything doesn't always warrant a response. Everything doesn't
Exactly.
always warrant a reaction. There's a time and a place. And here's the other thing that they shared. And you can, Deborah, you can maybe co-sign on this with your husband. The men on the panel, they basically said that when we ask them something and they don't respond or give us an answer right then and there, to just let it sit. They gotta think about it.
My
And
husband
they'll
says
come back
that all the
days
time.
later
He
and
says that all the time. It's
really,
so true. Yes. He said, you gotta let me think about that. And I do. But sometimes because I'll mess with him, I was like, yes, no, maybe. He'd be like, oh,
like they want to answer. We want to answer like
we
now,
want we want to answer right now.
right
But that's
now.
but that's also creating boundaries too. And that's and and this is the conversation or conversations that we need to have because we need to understand their love language. We need to understand how they tick, what makes them, how they can, if we know that they can't respond right away to something that we're talking to them about, and oh, by the way, how are we talking to them? Are we talking to them in a kind, loving way? Or are we being mean and abusive and demanding?
Are
Mm.
we leaning in,
Exactly.
or are we back?
Exactly. There you go. There you go. And so in my book, it talks about active listening and it talks about all the different stages. You're using your whole body to
Yeah,
listen,
I was going to talk about that. The whole body.
the
But
whole body.
you just skipped. Wait a minute, because you
I'm
just
sorry.
we skipped. No, we talked about the ego states, but you got
Okay.
to tell everybody about. And you're right. You do have to use your whole body, but you got to tell people
Yeah.
about this drama triangle.
Yes. Yes.
People need to understand that part too, because
Yes.
we
Because
bring when we are both.
people,
Go ahead.
yeah, people don't understand. And the ego state, and that's why it was so important for me to put this in my book, is because the ego state is crucial because it really is based on how we grew up and what happened to us and how we responded to life. But the triangle, the drama triangle, is the same, is similar in the sense of, when you are having that conversation, are you the victim? Like, why does this have to happen to me? Or why are you treating me like this? Why are you being so mean? I can't believe you said that to me. That's playing the victim card, right? And then the persecutor is, okay, you're just abusive. You're just abusive, whether it's verbally, emotionally, or physically. Uh, you're being abusive. And so that is how you're showing up in the relationship, right? And then, of course, not
Is that
least,
the
but we're not the
you person?
yes,
Is that the person that's always pointing the fingers like you did it,
yes,
you did it?
right. And
Because of
it's
you.
your fault. It's your fault, right? Everything's your fault. So pay attention to that. And then, of course, you have the rescuer. I was the rescuer for a very long time. I felt like I had to rescue everyone. Okay. Like it was my job to take care of my family, to take care of my mom, my aunts, my uncles. I was the rescuer. I took on that role, but that role wasn't mine. However, they allowed me to take on that role. So be careful, ladies. Be careful because they can allow you to take on a role that is not yours. You're only responsible for yourself. You're not responsible for anyone else. So
Say that
when you
again.
look,
Say that again.
say it again, you're
Somebody in the
only
back can hear.
responsible for yourself. You're not responsible for anyone else. Always remember that because I was responsible for everyone. And it made me exhausted. And we as women, this is what happens to us. We take on all of this, all these roles, right? That are not ours to take on. So when you're looking at this that drama triangle, where do you fit? Where do you find yourself at when you're having that conversation or when you're even thinking about having a conversation or after a conversation? Because think about it, we replay stuff in our minds all the time. We replay a conversation and like, oh, I didn't like the way they said that. Why did they say that? We're replaying something. So what role are you playing in that conversation? And what is going on in your head? So are you the victim? Are you the persecutor? Of course, nobody wants to admit that they're the persecutor, right? No one wants to admit that. But if your behavior is negative against a person, you're the persecutor. And the rescuer, like I was saying, is we always feel like we got to fix people. We always feel like we got to do more than what we have to do. No, we don't. No, we don't. We
Mm.
don't. We have to save ourselves. Save ourselves.
Save ourselves. And
Yeah.
when you save yourself, like you said, you're loving yourself. When you
You're
save
loving
yourself, you're
yourself.
loving yourself.
Exactly.
When you save yourself, you're loving yourself. So,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen, all this has to do with self-love. I'm a proponent of self-love.
Yeah.
Deborah's a proponent of self-love. So this just happened to be a great relationship and marriage, right? Amongst us, right?
Yes.
Along with another, a beautiful soul, Maria Pettiford Atkins. Like, we're going to be doing something really special soon. Like, you want to talk about that so people know? Like, I'm excited.
Yes, I'm going to be doing a self love workshop. It's called Self Love Makeover: How to Love Yourself Unconditionally. Which means you're going to put yourself first. And there are stages that we're going to go through to help you get there. Because sometimes it starts with self care, right? Now, when you're dealing with self care, you're taking care of you, whatever that looks like for you, whether it's taking 5 minutes to take a deep breath, whether it's reading a good book, you're taking that time, whether you're watching, like with me, I like watching comedies because I need to laugh, I need to release, right? So it's me watching a comedy and these are things I'm saying that are inexpensive. However, I also like a good massage. Let me tell you, I love a good massage. I love manicures and pedicures. Okay. I just haven't, because of COVID, I haven't done it as often as I used to do it. But all these things are self care. So everything starts with self care. And once you get that down, then you will learn about self love. And we're going to be talking about all different types of topics. We're going to be talking about self respect. We're going to be talking about self confidence. We're going to be talking about self awareness. Are you self aware? And some people don't even think about that. Self aware. What do you mean self aware? Are you aware of what you're doing when you're doing it? Are you aware of what your needs are? These are the types of things that we're going to be talking about. Self confidence. I did say self respect, which is super important as well. Do you respect yourself and respect yourself enough to not allow somebody to mistreat you? And we don't get that often either. We allow people to mistreat us. So it's just so many different aspects of this workshop that we're going to be doing that's going to take you through a process. And there's going to be questions, there's going to be pieces in there about exercise, everything you could think of that's going to allow you to think about yourself. Only you, so you could show up whole, like I've been saying all night. You show up whole so that you can show up in your relationships, whatever relationships that is. But so it's I tell you, this is something that I've been working on, that I've been really thinking about for a long time. And I just want to do it because we as women really need it. We need to love ourselves so much that there's so many things that we tolerate and accept. Once we really love ourselves, we won't accept those things anymore. We won't allow people to mistreat us and make us feel like it's our role or our jobs to do half the stuff that we do that we really shouldn't be doing. So I hope that you guys join us, and I'm so excited that Carolyn is going to be a part of it. I mean, this woman is so phenomenal. So I am privileged to have her be a part of it. I'm just so excited for her part. And it's going to be phenomenal, ladies. It's all about you taking care of yourself. And oh, by the way, you're worth it. Okay, you're worth it. Forget about, the latest bag, the latest shoes. We spend so much money on other things, but we don't seem to want to spend money on ourselves. Ladies, spend money on yourself because you deserve it. You are
All of
worth
that.
it and you are worthy. So, Carol, what do
Worthy.
you want to say about it, Carolyn? Tell.
Listen. All I know is that this thing here is going to be amazing. I'm just so honored, so great to be part of it because for me, self care has been, what's on this journey. Like you said, how do you work on yourself? That's been myself, like working on me
Mhm.
on so many different ways. And you guys have been watching me work on me and didn't even know didn't even realize you didn't even realize that's what I was doing. I've been working on me. And see,
Yeah,
when you work on yourself and you do these
right.
things, then different avenues and doors may open up for you that what that's supposed to come your way, right? So you're going to be more in tune with
Hmm.
things. So and then maybe that's why I was more in tune with what you said. I don't remember what you said, but I was more in tune with it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that occurs when you work on self. And so, like with that, it's all about your care. For me, I
All
can
about
go through
you.
my self-care regimen, with me losing, 70 pounds, that was about me loving me. Right? Yeah.
Girl, you need a standing ovation over that one. I am so proud of you. You go, girl. Love
Listen, I
it.
showed my grandma, I showed my, and I mean, I gotta post it. It's like a before and after. I showed my grandma. She's like, did I miss this? Like, when were you this big? She was like, Lord knows. Listen, she said, that didn't lie. Them thighs didn't lie. She's like, I wouldn't have believed it. I was like, I tried to tell y'all I was fat. How y'all let me get fat and then tell me? You ain't nobody tell me. Y'all just gonna sit there and smile in my face. Y'all sitting there going, And then what's so funny? Because after the fact, my son, he was telling me he would come home from school and he would just each time he would just go, He's like, okay, my mom's looking bigger, but I don't want to tell her, so I'm just gonna go. He tells me this now. He's like, yeah, because I used to always come home and look at you and go, hmm.
Oh my
He's like,
goodness.
I dare not tell my mom getting fat.
Oh
Men
wow.
know not to tell women they're getting fat.
Yeah, that's
But
so true. That's
But
so
women, we
true.
sometimes, if they tell us that, it's like they're telling us not to hurt our feelings. We said, but at the same token, you can come and say it, men. You can say it a little bit more delicately. So
Yes,
once again, it goes back with that conversation. So sometimes we got to listen to what they say, active listening. So and then you got to understand where the intent is coming from. It
yeah,
may not come from a harmful place.
right,
They just straight shooters.
right.
Stuff just comes out.
Oh yeah. Like my
No
husband would
filters.
tell me that, oh no, you can't go outside looking like that. He'd be like,
Well,
mm-mm,
what's wrong? What's wrong with how I look? Like,
mm-mm, mm-mm,
you
that
don't
don't look
really
right
want
on
me to say.
you.
And I'm like, okay.
Mm-mm.
But the
That's
self-care
so
regimen,
wonderful,
because it's
Carolyn.
not about exactly, it's not about the being, for someone else. It's really about yourself. Like,
Yes,
how do you feel? And that's what I said. I have this. I'm going to post it. I keep saying I'm going to post it, but I'm going to post it. But it has a story behind it, and I really want to share that story behind it, on all the different things that I'm going to post that has to do with self care. So this was
Mhm.
so perfect for this whole time to come up for us, because this is the journey that I've been on, and it's about caring for myself, and it's
Mhm.
about being in relationship with other people and understanding more about myself. Because as you work on yourself, yes, you do a lot of it on your own
Yes.
without anyone around you,
Yes.
but then you have to put it into practice. And
Yeah.
you have to put it into practice by engaging with other people. That's the word. You have to engage with other people, right?
Exactly.
And then as you're engaging with other people, you will learn more about yourself. In the process of engaging with other people, you'll start to learn, oh, I ain't like that. Or, oh, okay, I did like that. I'm like, oh, snap, I got to work on that. Like,
Mhm.
not, damn, they need to come to me differently. No, maybe you need to show up differently. Maybe
Exactly. Exactly. I've
you
spent
need to
years
show up,
working on myself. Years.
or not being, or here's the thing, or because one of the things I would say that, we all have healed parts to us, right? We all
Mhm.
have healed and unhealed parts.
Mhm.
But when we talked about, so for you, your example was, the child meeting the adult and the adult meeting the child. So that's how it's
Yep.
only until two adults meet that you can have an
That's
effective
right.
conversation, right?
That's it.
My version of that is when when the healed part of me meets the unhealed part of you.
Mhm.
And vice versa.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
when the two healed parts then we work. When the
Right.
two unhealed
Exactly.
parts meet,
You're right. You're right. That's
we
so
triggering each
true.
other out the wazoo.
Totally. Totally. But
We
one of
are
the things that I
triggering
wanted,
each other crazily.
yeah. But one of the things that also helps is when you understand when there's a disconnect, that is only within that moment of time. We have a tendency to allow things to fester. And it was
Moment.
only a moment in time that could have been a burst of anger. And if you really meditate on why there was a burst of anger, and especially if you understand your partner and why they respond the way they respond, when you talk about that negative energy happening there, sometimes you can diffuse it when you understand it,
When you understand it. Exactly.
right? But
Exactly.
that's all about conversation. I can give you guys a perfect example of what I'm talking about. My husband had surgery and he had to go to the doctor. And the night before, we were talking about him possibly driving himself to the doctor's office, right? I mean, I was going to go with him, but it's like, well, it's been a while. Maybe I could drive myself. Well, that was what was in my head when we got up the next day, right? So when we were leaving out, I had to go use the restroom. So I ran and used the restroom. And when I came out, my husband was pacing, right? I'm like, okay. So I'm like, are you driving? He was like, no, I'm not driving. I was like, but I thought you said you were gonna drive. He's like, no. He was like, fine, I'll drive. Let me go get my keys. And I'm like, no, 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 no. I misunderstood. I'm thinking that you were gonna drive. He was like, I ain't got time for this. We need to go. I was like, okay. So we get in the car. The whole time I'm talking to myself, right? Didn't have any, I didn't lash back out at him or anything because it was two things that I realized about him. He hates going to the doctor and he hates being late. If he's 15 minutes early, he's late. And he felt like because I went to go use the restroom that I was making us late, right? Well, we got there 15 minutes early. And so we could have argued the whole time to the doctor's office, right? However, like I said, I knew him. I knew that he doesn't like going to the doctor and that he hates being late. So I just kept the peace. I played that in my head. I waited until we got to the doctor's office. He got to see the doctor because he also has white coat syndrome. So his blood pressure goes. But I know this about my husband, right? Because we talk, right? I'm observant. I pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to go to lunch afterwards. And I told him, I said, you owe me an apology. And he was like, what do you mean? I said, you know what I mean. He was like, you're right. I'm sorry. I overreacted. And I was like, I know. But think about how that could have turned out, right?
It could have
That could
turned
have
into a
been,
whole.
yes, it could have been an explosion. And we could have wound up being angry for hours or days because of something that just happened in the moment. So I just want you guys to think about that. And I try to tell this story as much as I can because it's so important for us to understand that we're going to have all these moments, but how are we going to handle the moments? How are we going to handle them? Are we going to insist that they apologize, that they're wrong for saying what they said to me, that they were mean to me, or are we going to say, okay, like, why did they respond the way they respond? My husband very rarely raises his voice, and I know that. So when he does, I know it's okay. What's up, right? It's like, okay, so why did he raise his voice? And so I immediately understood that. I understood why. So and in my talk that I gave at the summit, the last thing that I said is we're all struggling. So we all need to give each other grace. We all need to
Mm,
give each other grace
yeah,
and stop being so feeling like we have to be right. We don't have to be right. It's okay.
no. And when you
You
give, when
know?
I just got from that, we said when you give with grace, that's given with love because that's what God
Yeah,
does, right? Gives us
yeah,
grace and mercy, and that's
yeah,
like that feels good, right? That's
yeah.
a nice trigger. That's a warm, fuzzy trigger. That's
Right.
like with grace, like. But that takes practice. That takes
It
practice.
does
But
take practice. I totally agree. But
self
if you have
love,
it in the
self care.
forefront of your mind,
Mhm.
and that's why I said it, if it's in the forefront of your mind, you can
Mhm.
bring it back to mind and you
Yeah.
can remember, I need to give this person grace, or this was only a moment and I don't have to make it bigger than what it needs to be.
Mm. And really, when it needs to be, it's not bigger for them. It's bigger for you because
Yes,
you're
because
keeping
it's
it
your
there.
reaction.
You're
Yeah,
ruminating on it. You're letting
yeah,
it go through your body. You feel it in
yeah,
your stomach. You feel it in your heart. You feel now you're creating a new narrative for it.
yes,
You're creating a whole
scenario.
script. It turns into a whole movie in your mind.
So
You done,
true.
you done
That
saw the
is
whole
so
Tyler
true.
play. You done saw the whole Tyler Perry play in your head. I could be
Yeah,
bad all by myself on that
that's
little
right. Yeah, so
over
true.
something simple, and it's usually simple stuff. But
Simple.
man, but doing that, once you said you've able to learn them because you were able to listen, right? You were able to understand you and what parts you have to play and how things affect you because you're only responsible for you. At the end of the day, you're only responsible for you. And that is the epitome of self-care. That is
Yeah,
the epitome of self-love. That is
yeah,
the epitome of self-aware, the things that we're going to go over in this
yeah.
workshop. But before they do the workshop, I'm just so excited and I've got a chance to read it. And I just this whole they get it. You're giving out a booklet, right? A free ebook.
A free ebook on self-care, and it's called Self-Care is Not Selfish. And it's so important when you read it, you'll understand that you need to take more care of yourself. And there you
That right
go.
there.
There you
Self-care is
go.
not selfish.
That's right.
Self-care is not selfish. And
It's
it's
not
funny that you're
selfish.
saying that because I said this the other day when I was on Michael Collier's show, morning show, and I said you have to be selfish in an unselfish way.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
that's the whole thing because it's about self-care.
It's
You're
all
being
about
selfish,
self-care.
but it's not selfish, but you have to be
You
because
have to
it's
do
about
it.
you. You have to be selfish with yourself. That's who you're
Exactly.
selfish with. Because get it, selfish, self is in that word.
That's
You're being
right.
selfish with yourself. That's it. No one
Very
else.
good.
That's it.
Yes,
That's in the word. It's in the root
exactly.
word. That's in the root word.
Exactly.
And
And when we,
and I did put the link in the chat. So you guys, there you go. Just go to nurtureyourlove.com/self-care. But if you click on the link in the chat, then you'll be able to go get your free copy of this ebook.
yeah,
And you'll just, I mean, that's her gift to you, right? That's our gift
yeah,
to you for just kind of
Definitely.
like just understanding this whole thing about self-care, self-care, self-care. Self-care
Yeah.
is self-love. Self-care
Right.
is self-love. And so you heard her talk about the self-care, the self-love, and to just bring it all home, listen, this is what we got coming up. The self-love makeover. Whoop, 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 whoop,
Yay.
whoop, whoop. Self-love makeover. Like, oh my God, with Maria Pettiford Atkins, with Debra B. Hamilton right there, and your girl Carolyn Wilson. I can't wait to be part of this. It's an
Yeah.
intensive one, workshop, self-love makeover. And like I said, you heard it from Debra. She really gave you guys a snippet, a breakdown. And if that's you, like you're trying to figure out how to, find this love within yourself, so that way you can find it in other people. Or if you're looking for, so here's the thing: you ever hear the people say, "Oh, like I'm looking for love in the wrong place." Yeah, because you were looking in it for other people instead of
That's
yourself.
right. Instead of yourself.
Instead of yourself.
And
So
with
let me show
everything
you
that
how
we've
to
been,
love yourself.
yeah, everything that we've been talking about tonight, whether it's the three ego states, the drama triangle, all the different things that we've said, the only way to avoid or to heal is to love self. And that's why this workshop is so crucial. It is so crucial because this workshop will really help you to love yourself. It'll help you look at yourself differently. It's going to help you say, wow, I am worth it. I am important. I'm special. I need this to help me grow within myself, to help me show up whole, right? Help me show up whole so that I can be the person that I really want to be for myself, so that when I am me whole, then I can be available to other people. Because right now, with all the things that are going on, we are giving so many bits and pieces of ourselves, and we're not realizing that we need to make sure that we're giving back to ourselves. Ladies, I'm telling you, and even men, and let me stop saying ladies, because men need self care too. Men need self love as well. They struggle just like we do. It's just that we, as women, we have a tendency to take on the world and feel responsible for everyone because we're nurturing, and that's what we do. But men need it as well. So I'm not trying to leave out the men in this as well, because they need self care. They, like I said earlier, they go out in the world, they have to deal with all the craziness that we deal with. And sometimes it's worse for them depending on their roles and what they have to do out in the world. And so self care is important. And then to honestly, we men have horrible childhoods just like we do. And so when they stop and really learn how to love themselves, they will show up better in their relationships as well. And, so we won't say men are this way or men are that way. When they're showing up whole, they can be the best version of themselves. And that's what I love about my husband, because I feel like he's the best version of himself. And he's constantly working on himself to be the best version of himself, so he can show up for himself as well as show up for me. And of
Wow.
course, like, I need him to show up for me and I need to show up for him. So that's the best part about having a great relationship, because we're showing up for each other. And
Wow.
we talk about this all the time. We talk about self care and self love, and we talk about the things that we've experienced in our childhoods and how it has affected us and how we have these triggers. So once you're aware of these things, it can make all the difference in the world. So all I have to say is join us in this workshop. It is worth it. You are worth it, and you will really get a lot out of it.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Deborah. I mean, like I said, this is, and I see some people jumping on comments. See Gracie, she was like, yes. So she agreeing with us wholeheartedly. It's really about, when you heard Deborah talk about with her husband, how you work together. That's
Yeah.
because they've worked on each other. They worked on themselves independently,
Yes.
and then they were able to come together and work to heal each other,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Because once again, like I said, the healed version meets the unhealed version. And that's how, because you're still whole, but
Yes.
there's still some parts of you that are fragile, right?
Yeah.
There's still some part, and a whole person can understand that fragileness and can help you with that, vice versa. It's only when, like I said, the unhealed, the two unhealed parts meet each other, then that's when all fireworks
Yeah.
blow off.
Exactly.
Because you're not able to understand.
You're not
So
able to
you're not
understand.
able to understand. So, but Deborah, like, man, I can't wait for this thing to happen because it's going to be amaze balls, all that good stuff. So you go to Bitly. We gave you a short link right here, Bitly NY for Nurture Your Love, huh? Self
Yes.
care, NYL self care. Like, you will definitely be blessed. You will definitely be blessed with this workshop. Let me take this other thing off so you can see it again. And I put it in the chat so you can definitely get to the link in the chat. But I really, okay, I'm on the wrong spot. Where am I at? So you really definitely need to check this out. Between Debra, Marie, and myself, we got a whole day, jam packed for you that you will just really, 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 really love. Um, what you come out of that, because it's a makeover. It's really a makeover.
Yes.
It's going to give you the foundation. It's going to give you the foundation that you're going to need. And this may be like for such a time as this. You guys been hearing me say that with my her story. And this is really the year. If we didn't learn anything in this situation, I don't like saying what we were in because we know what we were in. And I don't want to
Mhm.
give life to what we already experienced. But that's the problem. It's something that we already experienced, and we're trying to like erase it like it never happened. And we didn't. A lot of people didn't work on themselves in it when you had that time to, and now you're coming out of it, and you still need to be healed.
Yes.
Still kind of
Yes.
need some. We all still need that. So this is it. You might be like, "Dang, I wasted all this time." Don't feel as though that's the case, because you know what, this is your time. Every time
Hmm.
is your time, is the right time. And so I
Yes.
see, like, yeah, I most definitely can. So Grace said, let me say, yes, a good woman can give a good man the outlet he needs, and he will return it back for sure. Absolutely.
That's right, Grace.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
Right.
Yes. So here, yeah, Gracie was asking to put the link up again. So here's the link to the web, to the self-love workshop. It's on May 7th, bit.ly/NYL self-love. So, and if you just go to nurtureyourlove.com, that's everything about Debra, her book. You can find information about her coaching, master communication of your relationship and marriage. Join us for the self-love workshop.
Awesome.
And don't forget to get your download, your free ebook.
Yes,
Your,
definitely.
oh, definitely
Start your journey.
get that. They're right here. It's in the chat. Definitely go and get it. It's your free self-care ebook. If you don't get anything from that, definitely get that. Okay,
Yeah,
definitely get that. Definitely get that. So Deborah, I know we went a little over, but that's
we
okay.
did.
With some nuggets that were like really shared with everyone. If you didn't get to watch all of it, definitely go back to the replay. But I'm gonna close this out. So thank you for being part of my, candid conversations with Carolyn.
I love it. Love it. Love it.
I
Thank
love
you for
it.
having me. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Listen, iron sharp as iron.
That's
All
right.
Iron sharp as iron all the time. So I'm gonna put you backstage for a second. Let me see. We got some new
Okay.
comments. New comments came in. I don't know who else is saying. She said free ebook. Wait a minute. Grace said free ebook. Yay!
Yes. Yes.
I'm with you on that. I got mine. Look, I got mine. You got yours. All right. I'm gonna put you backstage for a second while I close this out.
Go
All
ahead.
right. Thank you. So listen, you guys, listen. Thank you for staying with me, on a Friday night. I gotta figure out what day I'm gonna do this on, but if you really like this and enjoyed it, just kind of put it in the chat, give me thumbs up. After doing the 25 days of her, sometimes like, you know what, it's something that I wouldn't want to do anyway, but I've been kind of pausing on it. I'm like, now I'm like, you know what, just do the ding dang thing. So this you going once a week, whatever. Mm. I'm gonna be coming to you guys, so I'm gonna be looking for y'all. Y'all want to come at me, come at me, come at me. I already got a person that I want to interview, so we're gonna have. I like this candid conversations with Carolyn. I think that's what the segment is gonna be called, candid conversations with Carolyn. So listen, I want you guys to have an amazing, wonderful, fabulous Friday. For some people, it may already be your Saturday, so have a satisfying Saturday, right? Make it sensational. Well, just do that anyway on Saturday. How about that? So listen, this is your girl Carolyn Wilson, the Fearless Magnified Educator. Can't wait to see you guys on the 7th. Make sure you follow, like, share this particular episode, and you go ahead and you follow Debra, right? nurtureyourlove.com. Make sure you go there. You get your free ebook. Make sure you sign up for the self-love workshop where you're going to be blessed beyond measure and really get the tools and things that you need. So if you liked what she said tonight or what we talked about tonight, and you want to learn a little more and really learn a little more about yourself, because that's the key. When you show up for you, you show up for others. So I am going to thank you, Gracie. Yeah, great show. Thank you so much. And I can't wait to bring more of this to you guys. So listen, you got to start somewhere. And here we go. There we go. Candid Conversation with Carolyn. This your girl, Carolyn Wilson, the Fearless Magnified Educator. You know what I tell you? One of 3 things. I want you to be empowered. I want you to be inspired. And most importantly, just be magnified. I'll see you guys. Take care. Bye.